Good morning, everybody. Mr. Kennedy here. Today, we're going to learn how to draw the cat in the hat.
All right. So to get started with making our cat in the hat, the first thing we're going to do in the middle of our paper is let's make an oval going side to side. We want to remember to draw lightly because some of these lines we might be erasing. But again, I'm just going to start with a nice big oval in the middle of my paper. Now, first thing I'm going to do on the sides of my oval, almost like I was going to make kind of like a volcano shape on top of my oval, I'm going to start to make a line that's going to curve up just a little bit. And I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, it's almost like we're making the bottom of a volcano right on top of that oval. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this little bit of my oval that's in between my two volcano lines. So now I almost have this weird, almost like a stretched out letter U. The first thing, let's make a line that's going to go across the top of this shape. So we want it to connect these 2 points, but it's going to go past them. We also want it, actually no, never mind. This line is going to go straight, but it's going to go past both sides of the head. Just like that. Now right underneath that line, let's make 2 kind of curved lines to give him an ear on both sides. So right underneath this line, I'm going to draw a line that's going to curve up, kind of going right next to it, but a little bit past it. And then I'm just going to curve it back down. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Making a curved line out, going right next to and past that line, and then curving it back in to the side of my head for his ears. Next, we're going to make a line that's going to curve out of the top of his ears and around this flat line. So it's going to come up, around, over, and back down. And it's kind of like it's almost looks like it's going out of the top of the ears. And let's actually bring our ear a little bit past that, make it a little bit bigger so we don't get it confused. So again, I'm just kind of taking my ear line and I'm making it a little bit longer. All right, that's a little better. Now out of the top, now this is oval shape we have right here. It's going to be for the brim of our Cat in the Hat's hat. Let's now draw the rest of his hat. So to do that, now I'm going to, almost like I'm following this line up, I'm going to come over just a little bit, so I'll make a mark right here. This is where I want my hat to start to come up. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, it's kind of like I'm following up the side of this head, and I'm taking a little step over towards the outside. And that's going to be where I want my hat to end on the other side. So now I'm going to draw it. It's going to, as I draw this line, it's going to come up, but I also want it to curve a little bit. This is almost going to be like his hat is slouching over. Let's draw a line that's going to curve down. So it's coming down at an angle now, but it's still curving. It's not a straight line. And now let's make a curved line that's going to curve inwards in this direction to connect this point to this point. There we go. And now he does have some stripes on his hat, so let's draw those. So I'm going to draw one line that's going to go from one side to the other, and you'll notice my line isn't straight, it's curving. I'm not going to draw any straight lines on his hat. I'm going to make them all curve just a little bit. So he has one stripe right down here at the bottom. Let's draw another red stripe up here. So we're going to draw a line that's going to come from the left side all the way to the right. And we need to give it a top to that stripe. So this is a stripe, white space, red stripe, white space, and he has one more red stripe towards the top. So let's give him one more. This one's going to be a little bit, look like it's smaller, but there's a little bit of white at the top. Oops. There. All right, let's come back down to our cat's face. For his eyes, we're gonna start with two ovals. Two large ovals, one on the left, one on the right. Now inside of my ovals, we're gonna draw two circles, two little tiny circles. I'm gonna draw one that's a little bit bigger towards the top of his eye. I'm gonna draw a smaller one, a little tiny one, towards the bottom. And eventually, when we color the eye in black, we're gonna leave those two little circles white. So they'll be kind of like where the light is shining in his eye. Let's also give him a nose. So I'm going to do a sideways oval kind of right in between these two eyes, but also underneath them. Oh, you know what? He is a cat, so let's change this line around him. I'm not going to change the shape of it, but I'm just going to go back over it now and make kind of a zigzag line, just to show that he's a hairy cat and he's not just like lines and super smooth. There we go. Let's do another kind of zigzag line that's going to go from the top of, or over the top of his head, and let's bring it around this side of his eyes and into the bottom. Making a little zigzag, a little bumpy line just goes around his eyes, his nose, and into the bottom. And down here we'll make a nice big smile. Let's also give him some whiskers. So I'm going to come over here inside where I made that zigzag line. I'm going to make three large lines that are going to come out. They're all curving a little bit too. I'll do that on the other side. They're not all the same length, but they're kind of close. So if you can't make them the same length, just try to get them as close as you can, and that's good enough. All right, let's start on his body, or her body. Right underneath this part, so kind of right where the zigzag line is coming into the bottom of our oval, we're going to make two little lines for the start of the neck. I'm now going to make some lines that are going to come out and down at an angle to start his arms. So this one's going to come down, and I'm going to make almost like I'm taking a step away from that line. I'm going to make another one that's going to come back up for the other side of his arm or her arm. Now let's do these two same lines on the other side. So again, I'm going to come down at an angle, and it's almost going a little bit past the side of his head if you want to know how long to make those arms. And again, we'll take a little step away from it and do another line back up into where his body will be. Now, from these 2 points, we're going to make a line that's going to come down, and it's going to make almost like it's an upside down balloon. This is going to curve around, and we're going to bring it back up and into this point. Actually, Cat in the Hat is usually very tall, so I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger, a little bit taller. There we go. Now, kind of like what I did with this little curvy zigzag line around Cat in the Hat's face, I'm going to do the same thing on his belly. So again, I'm just going to make a little curvy zigzaggy line that's going to go kind of make a little oval shape on the inside of his belly, his stomach. I'm also going to, let's give him some feet real quick. So let's make two little lines that are going to come down out of the bottom of that oval. One of them is going to go to the left, loop it around and back up. The other one's going to go to the right, loop it around and back up. For his hands, for his gloves, or her gloves, let's make a line that's going to curve around and across the two arms. So you'll notice I'm not going to start at the end of my arm. I'm going to start at the a little bit underneath it, so like right here. I'm going to make a line that's going to come out, around, across those two lines, and back down on the other side. Kind of like a big, weird, backwards letter C. But this time I'm going to do it on this side. So this time it's more like a normal letter C. But again, it's going across and to connect those two lines. But it goes around, so it almost looks like it's going around his arm. Next, let's make from the top of that oval shape, that letter C shape, let's make a line that curves down and then back up, almost like a little letter U. This one's going to go a little bit higher though. We'll loop it around to give him a thumb. And let's give him a nice big circular shape for the rest of his glove. And we'll bring this now, curve it back into the bottom of that C shape. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So again, start with a little letter U. We curve that line up to give him a thumb. And again, we're going to make a big circular shape for the rest of his glove. And we'll curve it back into the bottom. I think one's bigger than the other, but that's okay. I'll fix the other one later. We're almost done. I think all we really need to do now is give him a tail. Oh wait, and his bow. He has a little tie, or she does. So let's do the tie first so we don't forget. So right here, kind of right in the middle of the arms and the neck, I'm going to make a little circle. From the bottom, from the sides of it, I'm going to make a line that's going to curve out right underneath his head. It's going to curve down, and it's going to curve right back into our circle. You'll notice it's covering up a little bit of the arm and the neck here, so I'll just erase that little bit underneath. And I like to do a little line in the middle of it for a little detail. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, we're going to curve out and away, going right underneath the head. Let's curve down and back in to our circle. We can erase the little bit of arm that's underneath it and add our detail. All right, now let's give him a tail. So I like to do it on the right side, but you can do it on the left, it's up to you. But I'm going to make a line that's going to curve out of the bottom half of our oval. I'm going to curve it around his arm, just like that. I'm going to loop it around and bring it right back in to a little bit below where I started it. And that is our basic Cat in the Hat. Now we're ready to trace, erase, and color. If you would like, you can pause the video to match the same colors at home, but you do not have to.
I hope you guys all had fun drawing the cat in a hat with me today. I hope you guys stay safe, you keep drawing, and I'll see you next time.